Welcome all of you to Louisville, Kentucky. We've had a bit of excitement today. This is the final game of 4. It features a 16 seed against a 1, not just any 1. The undefeated Kentucky Wildcats against Hampton. The winner advances to take on Cincinnati on Saturday. The other 2 games you saw at the bottom of the bracket. The Wildcats are chasing history. They're 34-0 thus far, seeking to become the 8th undefeated NCAA champion. The last, Indiana, 1976. The head coach for Kentucky, John Calipari, the head coach for Hampton, Edward Joyner. Moments ago, he addressed his Hampton team, and here's what he had to say.
Trust in your game plan. Trust in the moment and that you're going to be ready for it. The biggest thing you need to do is trust in yourself. If y'all want to go out here and do something special, and the only way that you're able to do something special, you got to put yourself in line to do it. You put yourself in line. Now what we going to go do with it? Come on, y'all. Let's go make this happen.
Hey, listen to nobody else. Our folks say defense. They get nothing. I don't care. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they got to do.
Well, his name is Edward Joyner Jr. He prefers his nickname, Buck.
And we had a chance to speak with him yesterday, and he was nothing short of funny. Came here with a purpose. Just very, very proud of this Hampton team that he has. And roll up your sleeves and see what happens, guys.
Starting lineups. First of all, for Hampton, here's a memorable meeting at midcourt. Take a look on the left. Reginald Johnson, Brian Darden, Deron Powers, Quentin Chivas playing injured tonight. Jervon Presley on the right. Somewhat familiar names now, aren't they? The Harrison twins, Trey Lyles, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Carl Anthony Towns. That's the first 5. You'll see a lot more guys for Kentucky tonight. And the head coach in his 6th season. A record of 186 and 37 behind Trey Lyles, John Calipari. Derek Chivas in their win in the MEAC championship game. I don't see how he recovered from the beating he took. Went down time after time. Spent yesterday's shoot-around in training. His coach said he will play tonight.
And I give him a lot of credit because you know what? You could have bailed on your team if you wanted to against Kentucky. The powerhouse that they are. I just love the fact that he's coming out here to give it a shot, playing injured, and as you touched on, Vern, boy, he took some hits the other night.
They are missing another starter. McHale, one of the starters and the leading scorer on this team, out with a high ankle sprain. That's Dwight McHale, a junior out of Baltimore. Underway, 4th and final game of the night. And it goes into the hands of Andrew Harrison.
And Hampton starts with the zone, and they're going to squeeze it. If the ball goes down deep, but Kentucky likes the high-low with their bigs.
Ball tipped out of bounds. This may be the greatest height advantage I think I've ever seen.
It is incredible, the size. And when we sat here, you know, we both watched Kentucky a lot on television this year, and that's the first time I saw them in person this year. Just like the guards came in, and I thought they were tall. And then the rest of the team showed up.
Harrison gets it into the corner, the first miss of the night. Willie Cauley-Stein with another miss. And that ball is knocked away, but a foul is called on Reginald Johnson.
And you take a look at the Cats defensively this year. Look at the #1 rank in field goal defense. 7 block shots. Everything is very, very good. The rebounding margin of plus the 10th. And so overall, we all know what this is going to be for Hampton, right? This is going to be the biggest challenge they've ever faced as a team. And they came in tonight at 17 and 17. All jokes aside, they both played 34 games. We'll see how it all stacks up.
1 of 2. And here comes Hampton on offense. Reginald Johnson. Rebound. Carl Anthony Towns. Here's one of the Harrison twins. Trey Lyles Gets the ball back. We just might see that over and over and over tonight.
Just a simple give and go. Into the post, defenders turn their backs, and oh boy. And look at the height. Almost the elbow over the rim to start things off.
Missed free throw. Brian Darden, a junior who is listed at 6'2", guarded by Aaron Harrison, who is 6'6". Now you've got Deron Powers, who's 5'11", guarded by Andrew Harrison, who is 6'6". It just goes on and on. Presley. Trey Lyles. Nice rebound.
It sure was. Stay around the glass.
Quentin Chivas. He is the tallest starter for Hampton at 6'6". Nope, I beg your pardon. Javon Presley, 6'8".
You look short, though. 6'8". I never thought 6'8" looked so short.
That's for two. Reginald Johnson, who averages 12 per game.
I like the fact that Hampton, just because of the size, they come out in the zone. And it's easier for them to just squeeze and get some rebounding, but size matters in this game once in a while.
Oh, there's a mismatch. Cauley Stein on Reginald Johnson. Chivas. Oh my gosh! For the rest of their lives, Jim, the Hampton guys will say we led Kentucky.
That's it. Let's see if they can get everybody to leave.
Not quite. Trey Lyles. 4-3. What an experience for these Hampton kids.
Somebody should take a picture of the scoreboard right now.
You're so right. Well, it didn't tell. They've still got a chance to come back, grab the lead again. I hope somebody got that scoreboard shot.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It will be on the cover of next year's Hampton Media Guide.
Exactly.
Johnson.
And the one thing with Hampton right now is that they're kind of holding their own. When you look at it, it's just the shots are a little quick. They're not contested, but they're quick.
Another rebound and a foul called.
Really just take a look at the shot selection. There's a little step away. Good one by Johnson, so that's under control. And then Chivas, who we mentioned, playing very well, playing injured. And when you look at it, Vern, so far so good. I mean, now John Calipari will start to empty the bench a little bit. And I think Hampton just has to remember one thing. Work the ball, and if you have a shot, don't rush it. Just take your shots. If they get blocked, so be it. You're going to get shots blocked.
There's a turnover. Devin Booker is on the floor for Kentucky. So is Tyler Eulis. Entry pass. Marcus Lee.
I mean, Hampton's not the only team that's had problems with the interior size and game of Kentucky. They just catch and they go quickly. They extend on you.
I was witness at a game in Chicago on December 20th. The halftime score was 41-7, and the 7 was scored by UCLA. Another basket for Hampton.
Chivas again. A step.
Travel.
Yeah, Kentucky with the 1-point lead, but you know what? You have to appreciate and respect that Hampton's throwing their chin out there, and here's a power dunk down low. But Chivas goes after him just the same and finishes it off. Good effort so far.
John Calipari's team leads, but only by 1. Let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Thank you, Vern. In no way is John Calipari taking this game lightly. His big emphasis the entire season has been, let's be the best version of ourselves. The starting 5 started 1 for 8. They missed a lot of opportunities. He was not happy with them on the bench. Listen, we know that they have a huge advantage in terms of size and athleticism and strength and depth, but still, there's another opportunity to become better individual players, and he wants to see them take advantage of that today.
Fade away and basket interference.
The one thing that Hampton has done again, and there was an example of it, and I think it's a smart play. Powers drives it towards the basket, but he recognizes if he's going to go all the way in there, he's got 2 7-footers basically coming at him all time. So you're going to see a lot of little fadeaway jumpers, and I think that's the right decision. Normally you'd say you don't want to be fading too much.
Ulis, 2 more for Kentucky.
Yeah, that's where they just overpower you when the ball gets down low.
Dakari Johnson with that basket, so the second 5, with the exception of Trey Lyles, he is still on the floor, so another substitution getting ready to come back for Kentucky. 9-6. Chivas went off his leg. That's good. Javon Presley, he is the tallest junior from Charlotte. Ulis, nice adjustment. Here we go. Look at Booker get back. Whoa, and he fouled him.
Yeah, the beauty of this so far with Hampton is I don't see one guy looking like they're intimidated.
No.
Yep, they just challenge him. He knows he's going to get hit right here. He just holds on to it. And that's what you have to love about a team like Hampton in a situation like this, right? I mean, they know what the challenge is coming in.
Now Calipari goes back to his bench. That was an 85% free throw shooter, Brian Darden, who missed the first. He's got 1 more.
And that's the problem with any team, Hampton included, is you start to play well against a team like this. What naturally happens through the excitement of a team like Hampton, they'll start to breathe heavier,
right? Because
they're excited about playing Kentucky. And then all of a sudden you look over and 3 fresh bodies come in, and it's just a wave that they have to deal with.
There's the entry pass from Booker. A foul is going to be called on Hampton. Now let's take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. Buck Joyner, 6th season. He's a graduate of Johnson C. Smith. Holds the school record for Division I wins. And an exuberant and extremely likable personality.
And they won that game the other night. 297 texts came in on his
That's
phone.
right.
That was fabulous when he was talking about that yesterday.
Ulis'
phone almost blew up.
Towns.
Vernon, it's not only the size that Kentucky has that everybody talks about, but you have exceptional players in terms of their offensive capabilities. Forget about defense, but Towns has footwork that's fabulous.
Offense. That's against Kentucky. Oh, it's against Presley. I beg your pardon.
So just watch the footwork here. Catch, looks, understands where the defender is. He finds the body of Presley, and he's smart enough to just go to the baseline because Presley stops the middle of the floor. A little bit of a drive, and he condenses it and goes the other way.
Here's the tiniest guy for Kentucky. Ulis at 5'9". Wow. Point blank. And he muscles his way in again.
I mean, you talk about what you can do if you're Hampton, and quite candidly, they're playing the high-low as tight as I've ever seen it with these two guys. And as best as Hampton putting this effort in, may have gotten away with a little push-off there, it's just too much size. And that's why you try to strip it down low if you can.
Collie Stein gets the first of 2. The foul called on Emmanuel Okoroba. Had a terrific game the other night in the win over the Manhattan Jaspers.
And Collie Stein has had just a terrific season this year. Experienced player, the SEC tournament MVP.
Okoroba, brief minutes. Presley back on the floor for Hampton.
One of the things, if you're Hampton too, Vern, you want to just make sure you don't turn the basketball over. Don't give anything to Kentucky to get them running, to get them dunking, to get this fan base going even crazier than they've been in 2 days.
Beautiful. Presley off the glass. It's 11-13.
Yeah, there's the challenge too. He's not afraid to put his body out there.
Right side. Cauley Stein missed the dunk.
Yeah, so Chivas is doing a pretty good job defensively over there, trying to block out, but the ball kicks high. And here's some Hampton offense. Watch the body. There's one shot blocker. He goes through. Cauley Stein doesn't get there quick enough, and Presley finishes one off. That's what I meant a moment ago, Vern, when I just said, you know, I'm looking around here, and you would think sometimes guys are like shaking in their boots because they're walking in here. And Hampton, to give them their due, a bunch of young guys just coming out here and saying, all right, we're going to try our best to play.
And this is not the Kentucky effort you expected, I don't think. They're not playing particularly well. Cauley Stein got it. Kentucky up by 3. Chivas.
Yeah, you try to get the bigs out like Cauley Stein.
Those bigs.
Yeah, the one thing is come out to the perimeter, which is rare for big guys like that.
Look at them take it to the basket. Nope.
Good slowdown. Pretty good defensive transition D. And that's where the quickness and strength takes over. You end up banging and getting good shots and good opportunities, Harrison.
Watch live games on your Amazon Fire HD Android device, iPhone, iPad, or computer with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Well, I keep thinking back to the pregame show and the panel of slides that they showed of things that would happen before Hampton could win this game. Hampton's hanging in there.
They sure are. If I were Buck Joyner so far in his first 8 minutes or so, I'd be very proud of these guys at the way they've just, they haven't backed down, which is good.
Jumper off the front rim. Rebound, Cauley Stein.
Don't let them get into a running game.
Ulis, crossover.
But they have the size at each position. You know, here it's glaring because of Hampton's lack of size versus Kentucky, but guards are big.
Pretty.
Yeah, just not a whole lot you can do to stop that.
Carl Anthony Towns. Johnson.
And they make you think, don't they, coming through the lane?
You bet they do. There's the dish to Ulis. Little turnaround. Got it. Timeout. Hampton.
And a smart one, too.
Timeout. Hampton.
And what you don't want to see if you're Hampton is the running game. Cauley Stein with a pretty handoff. Little chip shot there.
But right now it's 20-19. We get you back to Vern.
Thank you, Ernie. 18-11 here. Kentucky trailed briefly in this game. They've had a couple of close calls this year. December 27th against Louisville. Ole Miss in overtime. Next game, 2 overtimes at A&M, at Florida, at LSU. They trailed Georgia. But most interestingly, I think, Jim, back in December, they trailed Columbia University 11-0.
So it can happen. Question becomes, can it happen for 40 minutes against this team? And that's what the rest of the field is thinking.
It will only happen, according to the pregame guys, when Chuck Barkley wins an NBA championship. That foul is on Towns. 10:48 to go first half.
Just got to listen in on Coach Joyner in the huddle, and he said, guys, just relax. We're doing okay. Take your time running through the offense. But then Brown got really emotional. He said, guys, this is just basketball. We're going to make mistakes. We have to live with them, flush them down the toilet, and move on with our game plan and continue playing basketball the way that we know how. Then Joyner said, guys, we have to control our emotions. It's going to be an up and down game when it comes to emotions, but just hang in there.
That's Deron Brown, who is on the floor now, wearing number 21 for Hampton. Here's Harrison. Hicks.
Yeah, you know, Vern, I think to Allie's point, it's right on target, and it's difficult to do, right, if you're overmatched as a team. But what you need to do is if they block some shot, they swat it, they do something crazy that gets the crowd going, you have to try to forget it. Even though as a player it's difficult to do, to put that last play behind you. But you know what? You still have to have some fun with this game. If it's not fun, then you shouldn't be here. It's hard work and fun at the same time, and I think these guys have accomplished something so far in 10 minutes.
Well, when they're my age, these young men from Hampton will be telling their grandkids how we played Kentucky in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
You know, and you look at the other side with Kentucky now that this is the NCAA tournament, a little different approach. They don't seem to be flustered too much, even though they get off to a bad start. And John Calipari will use different sets. He'll have the big guys guarding little guys just because he may need that down the road.
How about that?
Beautiful.
And a basket for Deron Brown. Young man who was emotional in the timeout huddle.
Yeah, I love the way he just kept pushing the ball. I mean, he never seemed to have total control over it right down the middle, but he avoided one of the Harrison twins coming down the road.
On the floor. Nice defense.
They keep packing it in.
Deontay Adams, number 32.
There you go.
Rejected by Deontay Adams.
Well, you hesitate. You see that little ball fake. Nobody bought on it. A good hand on the ball, with Powers getting the first deflection going through. And again, we see a good effort defensively by Hampton. Just keep tight. Don't get too crazy coming away from the glass.
Another miss.
There you go. And the further out that Hampton comes, the bigger these guys down low get. So if you keep squeezing in, you almost want to get enough guys around their bigs down low so that they can't execute their footwork, and you never know what can happen from that point.
Deron Powers, number 11. Here's Okoroba, young man from Garland, Texas. There's the pass.
I lost his footing.
Yep. Be that guy that knows everything about your favorite teams before the rest of your friends. Download the Team Stream app from the Bleacher Report to get all your team's news first. Okoroba, he is not a gifted free throw shooter. He hit some clutch the other night. He's only hitting 55% on the year, but he'll shoot one more.
Pretty good looking free throw shooter for a guy who shoots at that number. Vern,
yeah.
He's got a good form, good release, rotation is pretty good. And here's that. Let's see, is it back to a man-to-man for a little bit? That's where you're going to have a little bit of problems because of players like Towns, who is just too overpowering.
With the left hand.
So he knows how to set himself up, and if you're not strong enough to kind of push him out with the lower body, it's almost like he's jumping up and shooting down on the basket.
Towns has 6. Equaling the lead enjoyed by Kentucky right now.
Davis turns down a shot right there. That's a smart move.
There's the big defending, but the loose ball chased down. 4-3. Nope.
get your balance. They like to run. Cauley Stein likes to go right down the middle of the floor.
Ulis fouled by Okoroba. 7:28 to go first half. Hampton hanging in against the undefeated Kentucky Wildcats. Caught up on what's happened so far. Neither team shooting particularly well. Kentucky is expected big rebound advantage. Anything else catch your eye?
Yeah, I think the points in the paint have to jump out because of their size. You're seeing a little bit of the floaters going away from the basket, and that's what Hampton has to do, and then occasionally they go right at it. So it's been a pretty good mixture in terms of what Hampton has brought to the table so far. And I think if they can just somehow, and I know this is, boy, is this easier said than done, somehow keep the ball away from the bigs 5 feet in, but Kentucky is designed to get the ball in there. So it's difficult, but so far so good. I mean, you have to really credit their effort. And on the other side, Kentucky just, they'll get the routine going, and you just got to be careful if you're Hampton that you don't see one of these, 15-2 blitzes, the way they can go up and down the floor. So be careful with the ball, make good decisions, and make Kentucky earn the defensive stops.
Little bit of defensive pressure by the Wildcats.
Look at Cauley Stein coming out. These guys can just come out on the perimeter. It's just unusual to have a guy like that who can play so efficiently defensively out front.
Largest lead of the game now for the Wildcats. Chivas blocked from behind by Towns.
Yeah, see, Cauley Stein can vacate. He can come back and block that shot sometimes, but he leaves. But he also knows that he has a couple of guys. Towns, number one, who's a big guy at 6'11". Lyles on the floor at 6'10". So they can release a big because they know they're protected down low.
There's the problem.
Yeah. Therein lies the problem for everybody.
Yes. 34 previous teams this year. Buck Joyner. 6th year as a head coach at Hampton.
Wilson Fisher with the call defensively, but they're just bigger.
Yeah.
He's 6'9", 205. Towns is 6'11", 255. Who's going to win the battle of the pushes more times than not?
Excuse me, Jim.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not to say his effort isn't there, but it's just a difficult challenge to be able to get Towns off the blocks.
Towns shoots one more. And this could be the first double-digit lead of the night. Deron Powers, number 11. Deron Brown. And here's Johnson in and out.
I like the way Hampton has settled down at the offensive end of the floor.
Now they just got a can of basket.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to take some of the possessions out of the first half as much as they can by using the clock.
For three. Out of bounds. Hampton ball. The big dance is better when you're open to try. Show us you're open to try and go to CokeZero.com. 23-14. Just a few seconds under 6 minutes to go.
Thing that strikes me too, Vern, is how quiet this building is. They were noisier yesterday during the shoot-around.
At the shoot-around, boy, is that correct. Here's the drive and the foul on Kentucky.
Chivas is a guy, just from his ability and the desire to win. Watch how he bumps in here. That's a guy who's not going in passively. He knows he's got a big guy, Cauley Stein, who's 7 feet tall, can really go after people. But he rams it right into his side to make sure he's going to get an action call on the floor.
Oh, boy, look at that. That was Trey Lyles with the block. And one. Towns.
I will give them this. Kentucky knows how to get a bucket when they need buckets. And they have a variety of ways of doing it. There's a big, tall play by Lyles, and down they come. And then watch where Towns gets down the floor. Where does he park himself? Right on the blocks. Catch, go. It's quick, and he can deliver.
5:36 to go, and Kentucky now beginning to enlarge its lead. This is 8 unanswered for the Wildcats now, and it's not helpful that Hampton has missed 9 of its last 10 shots.
And Hampton is in the double bonus over the limit with 10 fouls. And it's a good example of why Kentucky can wear you out.
Another turnover. Ulis. Lyles. I'm thinking of what John Calipari said to us at the shoot-around. Nobody really knows how good Trey Lyles is because they spread the minutes out among the 10 guys. And he said there's a degree of unselfishness that you must have if you're going to come in and share the ball with your other Wildcat teammates. Not a bad play. Hampton won the first 4 game against Manhattan by 10 the other night. And that evened their record at 17 all. There's a list of the other teams who have entered the NCAA with a losing record. This Hampton team has won 6 in a row. They won 4 in a row to become champions of the MEAC. That's Chivas. Kentucky ball.
Yeah, they won only 8 of their first 22 games, so they had some real rocky spots early in the season, and that's why it's that much more impressive for where they are right now in terms of putting it together in that last 6 or 7 games.
Karan Brown on, Reginald Johnson off. 28-14, 4:44 to go, first half.
Going into the MEAC, they were only a number 6 seed too, by the way, so they've been playing well, but competition a little stiffer here tonight.
Ulis.
Yeah, so when you pack it in, Vern, they have guys who know how to shoot the basketball. They just really have a terrific understanding of where the mismatches are, the advantages are, and they're, especially using the size. I mean, there's no substitution for it.
Powers. This is Brian Darden. They just can't get that three-pointer to fall. And they drive it inside, and you've got a wall.
And watch this now.
Yeah.
Got him to float away a little bit.
Trey Lyles gets the offensive board. That one's tipped out of bounds. 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go. First half. John Calipari's team exerting its will. Towns, among others who have scored.
Enemy territory. There's a lot of red all the way around. It's an uncomfortable feeling, and certainly it doesn't feel like home court advantage, but I got to ask John Calipari what it's like playing in enemy territory for the tournament. He said, listen, it's a little weird, but if I could choose to play just over an hour bus ride away from our home court, I would pick that any day. And with the way that Big Blue Nation travels, I mean, yesterday we saw it at practice. There was 10,000 fans in attendance just for practice alone. This place was filled with blue even in the first session today, so it certainly does feel like home court, even though it's Louisville's home court.
And Louisville out in Seattle. Towns has 12. There's the three-point jumper. Got one to go. Brian Darden, number 14. Reach around. Take another look, Jim, at Darden's effort.
Yeah, the ability to just come down and recognize over the top. Nobody helps out. Lee a little bit late on the recovery. And so you get Darden. Put up 20 points against Delaware State, so he has the ability to score.
Harrison. This is Andrew Harrison. John Calipari telling us he's got the reputation of one and done Among others, he did not expect the Harrison twins to return this year. He said they should have, and they did.
Well, good decisions, right? That whole concept, are you ready to move on? And to that point, too, Vern, I mean, everybody talks about the one and done, but the top 7 scorers on this team, 3 out of the 7 are freshmen. It tells you that 4 guys have experience, if not more of them.
Towns running the court. Ulis can't get it to him. Now Towns fighting for position. Taken away. Behind the back. The putback is good.
For once, they get a drive towards the basket, Vern, and it's one of the Harrisons. Aaron Harrison back and not a shot blocker. You look up, you say, where's the 7-footer? Oh, it's only a 6'6" guy. I'm going to go in and try a layup here. And they get good follow-up, 3 guys on the break. Another good effort. But the quickness is just really hurting him out front.
Karan Brown, number 21.
Yeah, watch this little strip. And he looks up after getting the basketball behind the back, and he looks for a shot blocker, not there, and they get a good finish. Good effort. Look at the 3 blue shirts coming down the floor.
First free throw good from Andrew Harrison. And Trey Lyles comes on now for Karl Anthony Towns. Look at that little coaching moment. 2 for 2. Buck Joyner sending his player back onto the court. Darden. There's Andrew Harrison barring his way.
Yep. And with help around the sides.
High screen set by Adams. Offensive foul.
Karl Anthony Towns has learned as a young player how to use his footwork to position himself initially. But you see him twist and turn, and very infrequently is he out of control. He knows exactly what he's doing as he catches and goes down low.
Ulis. How about that? Karan Brown climbing up, grabbing the rebound. 1:40 to go first half.
So there's one of those quick shots. You try to beat Kentucky down the floor. If you have an open shot, you look for it. Just can't get the offensive glass against him.
Lyles on the feed from Marcus Lee.
7 assists for Kentucky. Very unselfish for all the talent they have. Vern, I think that's one of the things. You know, this team has just bought into the concept, and they are unselfish with the basketball.
Little floater. Harrison from his brother.
Don't miss many wide open ones like that. We know that for sure.
Now the crowd has joined the battle.
So once again, the length helps. The unselfish play down low. They look for one another. And how about Andrew Harrison? Sometimes that can be the toughest shot, Vern, when you have all that time by yourself, and he made that one look very easy.
Just watch the replay. It's never a good sign when there's nobody else in the picture. So he cans the 3. 31.2 to go in the first half. Got it. Kentucky up by 20.
Yeah, so up 20 now. Watch what they do with the last possession. Just going to sit on it, and let's see what kind of execution they have. Even though it's a 20-point game, and against the zone.
John Calipari was just told, get back in the coaching box.
good shot, though. They miss it.
Chivas. Oh, my goodness.
Against Manhattan, Chivas saw this way too many times. He got hit a bunch of times. He is one tough character.
Well, he really is. I didn't think there was any way he would be able to play today, and his coach assured us yesterday he'll be there.
Man, it almost gave you the impression that there was no doubt that this guy will play. It hasn't been real easy for Kentucky, except for their tall guys down low. It's just hard to score against them.
He thought he was Grant Hill. Let's go to Allie, who's with John Calipari.
Coach, your team got off to an unusually sluggish start. What was going on in those first few minutes?
Had to sit in the locker room for an hour for an overtime game. We'll be fine. This is their first. Carl Towns, Trey Lyles, Devin Booker looks like he's out of it. Tyler, that's their first NCAA tournament half. Going to be shaky. Dakari's got to be better. Willie's got to be better. We've missed 7, 8 1-footers. I mean, literally one. Come on now. Can't miss those.
When you establish a big enough lead, you can start fine-tuning things that you want to work on individually.
We're worried about winning this game. All we want to do is win this game. I'm not fine-tuning. It was nice that I could play Marcus Lee because Willie had foul trouble. Let him get out there and do some stuff. But again, I keep saying it's not communism. You got to perform. You go in there and don't perform, I'm not playing you.
Thanks, Coach.
That's a line I didn't expect to hear tonight.
From a sweaty John Calipari just then. It's like he played almost. Look, he's going to ruin the suit and everything he's wearing.
That's the end of the first half. Kentucky up. We'll send you to AT&T at the half. After these messages, you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. All of you back to Louisville, Kentucky, where the top-seeded Kentucky Wildcats have established a 19-point lead. Moments ago, Allie LaForce with Ed Joyner, head coach Hampton.
Coach, your team came out fearless. They put up a good fight in the first half. What'd you tell them at halftime?
You know what? We got to get back to how we won these last 6 ball games. We hit a little bit of adversity, and we let the emotion of the tournament then get the most of us. And so we started shooting bad shots, doing some things uncharacteristic defensively. Kentucky's the #1 team in the nation, and you're going to have to play a man-sized game. But you also got to play smart. So we told them to try to get back to doing what they were doing early in the ball game. We definitely got to keep them off the glass, and then we got to start making some plays. My 3 main guys haven't made any shots, and it's going to be tough for us to do anything if they don't make shots.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you.
How in the world can you not just really like the guy?
Yeah, that's a good man right there. He reacts, he answers questions honestly, and then, you know, he hit it right on the head. My guys got rattled earlier in this game. And I think they did. They forced up some shots when they didn't have to, Vern. The ones that weren't pressured, they kind of rattled. You know what? They're a bunch of young kids in a great atmosphere here against a terrific team. The #1 powerhouse in the country. I'd be rattled too.
No, not you.
Oh, yeah.
Know who I just saw at halftime? Kenny Sky Walker. Got a pretty good name at Kentucky.
He sure did. Appropriately nicknamed also.
Yes. One of the greats among tons of greats. There's the floater from Booker. Towns. Foul call. Mr. Spinarco, take us through the halftime numbers.
Well, I think when you look at the Pirates, what have they done? They've kind of worked hard, I think. And I love the fact that Chivas has the 5.6 rebounds we talked about in that first half. The fact that he may not even be playing, and then the run to end the half. That was one of those runs that Kentucky goes on so often that you have to be careful with. And it's not like Hampton's the only team that's had this kind of problem against that.
Karl Anthony Towns. Powers guarded by Tyler Ulis. Rebound. Blocked. Willie Cauley-Stein. Booker leaves it for Harrison. There's the return pass. Thing of beauty.
Yeah, it sure is. And the other part of that, maybe you didn't catch, is that Towns ran the floor. He was down there in a hurry, so the big guy got out, got down the floor before even the action began on that break.
There's the attempted underhand, and it works. Derek Chivas, number 3. Said Derek Chivas, that's his father.
Yep.
Quentin Chivas.
That's how high they go. See, it's just so difficult. Cauley-Stein step in, and they just out-jump people, especially with Hampton's lack of size.
Darden. Shot short. Air ball. Karl Anthony Towns. Here's Booker. And at the other end, Darden. Entry pass from Ulis. There's a little swipe at it from Darden. And it's taken out of the air by Darden.
Those good sets by Hampton. Oh, there's a strip. 2-on-1 coming at you. Watch out for the lob.
Or
just delaying, huh? I thought they were going to try to...
Showtime?
Yeah, I thought they were going to go upstairs on that one. Right along the sideline, little deflection there, gets it and gathers it, and then off to the races they come. The only lane that was open was the layup.
what a day it's been. The second round games, first time in NCAA history. One site, we were the lucky ones, had 3 one-point games. There were also 2 more around the country. There was a 2-point win, a 3-point win, and a 4-point win.
What a day. What a terrific day. Georgia State 1 point over Baylor.
Well, Ashley Judd, Kentucky's #1 fan, usually is the object of the photographs. Take a look at that. And I recognize that little puppy. It's an English Cocker Spaniel.
Nice ball.
Nancy and I had 2 of them. And they're both gone. It's more than you wanted to know. More than I was.
No, it's all right. I thought we were doing the dog show now, right?
Well, Westminster, yeah. Booker, no.
A couple of things to watch now for when you're watching Kentucky offensively. How they run their sets up 25. Very methodical. Oh! Just can't get it to go.
They cannot. It's down in the basket and back out.
Wow.
Oh, hello.
That was a pretty hesitation and cross by Andrew Harrison. Chivas went for it a little bit, stood up, and by the time he recognized, he was just blown by.
Calipari's getting ready to reload. He's got 4 off the bench who are waiting for the next dead ball. Reginald Johnson brings it back outside. Little mid-range jumper. Nothing. 10-2 run by Kentucky. Ulis. And 1.
You have to enjoy watching Towns play, though, the excitement level that he brings to it.
Let's take a look at the last 2, Jim.
So watch this little fake out. And oh, boy, that was a pretty crossover by Harrison. And just too much size, too much strength. But Towns really enjoys making it happen.
And let's take a look at the game summary. 45 to 23% from the field. Points in the paint.
Yep.
Pretty much what we expected.
Big number right there, isn't it? 32 to 14. Points on turnovers. It's just what Kentucky does. Hampton knew it coming in that they had to play mistake-free basketball. It's just so difficult the way they direct you at the defensive end, and then they pass it unselfishly offensively.
Karl Anthony Towns, that's his 17th point to go with 9 rebounds. He's going to get a rest. And Dakari Johnson comes on.
So they go from 6'11" to 7 feet tall.
I just noticed that, yeah. Sometimes it's unfair. Johnson. Okaroba. Oh dear. They got Dakari Johnson with the call. He picks up the foul.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. They're not in position defensively that trip. Looks like Lee was trying to get there, but not quick enough.
Well, Kentucky, of course, is going to win this and go 35-0. They will meet Cincinnati on, that's hard for me to say, Cincinnati.
There you go. You know, it's one of the other things, too, Vern, with this whole thing, the way it shapes up. You know, John Calipari, even if he wanted to, I don't think he would really run this score up.
I agree.
I think he's going to keep it under control, and they're not going to run that much. And I'm sure he's going to get that message across. And now he still wants to work on some things. But don't underestimate the value that a game like this brings to the Hampton program and the school. They get just tons and tons of recognition, which is part of the NCAA tournament. I think it's a fabulous thing as Harrison goes deep again. And it'll help their program. Ultimately, you know, they'll lose by 20, 30 points, whatever the case may be. But I think there's a lot of good that comes out of this for them.
And form will hold 16, at least until tomorrow. A 16 has never defeated a 1. Especially as overwhelming a number 1 as this Kentucky team is.
Yeah, they're really the number 1, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Coming in.
Harrison to his twin brother. Back to Andrew. Well, Kentucky is going to go 35-0, seeking history. If the higher seeded teams advance, this is their path to the national championship. Cincinnati on Saturday here, possibly Maryland. You saw how that is assuming higher seeds. We learned today that that's not a given. Reginald Johnson fouled in the act of shooting by Trey Lyles.
Whenever, when you look at this path, too, obviously, you know, hypothetical, it's Cincinnati will give him a run. They'll give him, you know, an effort, that's for sure.
Sure.
Not tall enough to deal with it. Maryland is an interesting team. I think, you know, I think one way of looking at it, too, is if Kentucky didn't exist, those teams that we just mentioned there, Maryland, probably a shot to make a run. Kansas has struggled a little bit, still at 2. Wisconsin has been a favorite all along to say which team can beat Kentucky.
Agree.
And then you have Villanova and Duke. So if you took Kentucky out of the mix, those teams right there could very well be a mixture of the Final Four, even though they're all in the way here if they were in different brackets. But I'm not so sure. Just looking at this team in person, I think one of the ways you play them is you put 3 guys in a triangle underneath the basket and you let 2 guys out front defensively roam their best and try to find the shooters.
Johnson backs his way in and gets 2.
Because you can't expect anybody, and once again, I know Hampton is oversized both height-wise and body and strength-wise here. I'm not so sure you could let Kentucky take you one-on-one constantly on the blocks.
Powers takes the jumper, no.
And then the other problem you have is they defend so well, holding teams to 35% shooting. I mean, just look here. I mean, they just know how to get it there. Oh.
Well, the differential in their offensive output and the few points they yield defensively and percentage is enormous.
It sure is.
Like 20 plus.
And you add to it, which we've spoken about tonight, the depth. You know, and you touched on it a few minutes ago. John Calipari ready to put 4 guys in. It's like, almost like a hockey substitution, but they have to wait for the stoppage and clock. You know, it's like these guys, if not, they'd be coming off the bench in flurries. And I'm not the only one noticing it. Everybody in the country is noticing the depth they have, the talent they have, and they're trying to figure out where is the weak spot.
Line change.
Exactly.
And don't forget, and I know Kentucky fans know this, that they lost Alex Poitras, a starter, after 8 games.
Yeah, and a terrific player.
Yes.
I mean, a terrific player. And I think they're just a terrific blend of everything we just talked about, and then experience, enough freshmen. But at this particular point, winning 34 games coming into tonight, and I just, they say freshmen grow up, and it takes them a while to grow up. They've had enough close games in undefeated situations that they may be just, still getting ready to make this run.
From the corner, that's like almost every other three-pointer we've seen tonight. There's a reach around from Reginald Johnson. The big dance is better when you're open to try. Show us you're open to try and go to CokeZero.com. Ulis is back on the floor with Harrison Lee, Dakari Johnson, Trey Lyles.
They had a pass on the inside too, don't they? I mean, they got the triples going, back there with 3 guys that are 6'10" and above.
1 on 3, no numbers. So Ulis then pulls it inside. Taken away, Reginald Johnson.
Nice move.
Yep, didn't work. Now they've got numbers. Ball stripped, out of bounds. Well, the upper half of the Midwest bracket, with Kentucky leading 63-28. The winner will take on Cincinnati. And tomorrow you saw 2 games at the lower part.
West Virginia likes to go up and down defensively. Bob Huggins, another good job. And how about Bobby Hurley?
Yeah.
Step across there, good steal.
Chivas got the roll.
Nothing's easy for him, though. He gets the ball to go in, he falls down, he lands on the chair, the cameraman behind him, and he just plays hard. He keeps bouncing up and going after it. Like to have a guy like him on your team.
Ellie Oop. 11:15 remaining. 65-30. Chivas again. Nice.
Down 35 at that point, and he's not going away.
He's got 11 points tonight. Lyles. Now let's look back at Chivas first.
Yeah, he goes after it on that drive, but what happens? Immediately they come back and answer with the flush.
After all the games are over, Matt Weiner, Seth Davis, Mateen Cleaves, and Virginia Tech head coach Buzz Williams have all the highlights and analysis on Inside March Madness presented by Buick, only on True TV. Let's check in with Allie Laporte.
Thank you, Vern. Coach Cal told me that after an off day on Monday, the team had one of their most intense practices on Tuesday. He then tweeted, "I know that I'm coaching a special team when they practice like it's December 1st. I had to stop it because I was afraid we might have a fight. Now, I guess when you're as deep as Kentucky, really each player has only played half a season, right? So they have lots of energy to burn in practice still.
Very good point.
Yeah, it sure is, Allie. A lot of legs. And there's some right there going upstairs. I bet the practices are pretty good day in, day out.
You think? You know what? I've been to a couple of Kentucky practices, and I was surprised at the calm demeanor of John Calipari with his team.
Well, I think he's made comments about this team more than other ones that they all get it, they've all bought in, and there really isn't a problem anywhere. When we spoke to him yesterday, and these guys, none of them give me the impression that they're trying to be the leading scorer on this team. And the unselfishness, and I think that's probably as high a compliment as you can pay to a team with a bunch of kids who really understand it and are young.
Johnson, Chivas, and Quentin Chivas will go to the line. Well, they are trying to become an undefeated champion, go all the way back to San Francisco, a guy named Bill Russell, North Carolina, 1957, and then the John Wooden years, UCLA 73, Indiana the last, and many feel that their best team was 75. One loss.
I know it's a new era for kids playing basketball now as we take a look at the coaching that continues to go on from the Hampton side. Boy, I'm hard-pressed to believe that any team in history has had this much talent.
I agree.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to equate to an undefeated season, but they're solid 10 deep.
Jervon Presley back on the court. 9:35 to go.
They've mastered that little step in the middle of the paint almost, haven't they? From side to side, they'll push off. That's going to go the other way.
Offensive foul. Well, Indiana, the last team to go undefeated. I'd recognize the plaid coat. Semifinal, they defeated Alabama. Regional final over Marquette. Indiana defeated UCLA in the national semifinal and completed the run by ousting Michigan 86-68. 9:10 to go. Brian Darden, guarded by Ulis. Presley couldn't quite handle the pass to him. Timeout called by Buck Joyner, head coach, Hampton. (67-34), 8:55 remaining. Darden at last.
Yeah, I was going to say, finally the rim gets a little friendly down that end.
Here's Harrison.
Towns continues to work just to get the position.
Andrew Harrison.
Vern, if they mix it up on their nights when they're playing pretty well, the interior, they're playing well offensively down low. If they're shooting 35-40%, not necessarily the threes, but just shooting mid-range jumpers. If they're hitting the outside shot 35%, they'll win.
Look at the harassment. Hell ball, possession arrow. Wouldn't you know? Kentucky.
So do you think they're primed to win? They're up 32 points. The effort's still there. Look at the 3 guys coming total for Kentucky to converge on the basketball.
Eight to go. Oh, my goodness. Willie Cauley-Stein from a foot away.
A little glimpse of how he's improved his game. He used to be known just as a shot blocker. He's really upticked his offense.
Oh, dear.
Watch out.
That's Chivas again.
Just doesn't know how to play any other way.
Yep.
Limping a little bit again. Wow.
I sure admire him. Quentin Chivas. Willie Cauley-Stein. Ashley Judd.
Louisville, Vern.
Thank you, Ernie. And there's what we refer to as a baby bracket. Arkansas, Wofford. North Carolina, Harvard. North Carolina held off Harvard and won to advance. Chivas.
Ernie just spoke about Georgetown a little bit also. They've had kind of like a funny year this year. Sometimes they come out and they really put it to the opposition, and other times they miss a few shots in the outside and had some struggles, but looks like they're starting to play a little bit better late in the season.
Arkansas just won. (69-39), 7:40 remaining. Chivas has 15. Trap. Oh.
Well, here comes the show. Look at how tight they get. It's just upstairs. Very infrequently they have to dribble much to get their dunks. They just look for one another. That's a domination, 40-18 in the paint.
Darden backs away. Andrew Harrison out to guard. Here's his brother, Aaron Harrison, crossover. And guess who's there? And the foul is going to be called underneath on Dakari Johnson. Well, Jim, pick the team you feel is the best Kentucky team. That 54 bunch with Cliff Hagan declared ineligible. Patino led them to a national title in '96. Calipari in 2012. You want to?
I'm going with this team. I think depth-wise it just stacks up.
And the point you made earlier, I think, is very, very relevant. The game has changed so much.
You know, going back years with some of those teams, the way the game was played, I used to always refer to it as, you know, you had to be fundamentally sound and athletic to play this game. You had to understand it, know it. Now I think the athletic side of it has taken an edge. You still have to have the fundamentals, but athletically, it's really impressed me over the last 15, 20 years how the kids in general have just gotten bigger and stronger and faster. And they've gotten away a little bit, quite candidly, from the fundamentals, and it's hard to bring them back to the fundamentals. That's half the challenge for John Calipari. How do you get, 10 high school All-Americans to sacrifice for a team? And he's figured out how to do it.
That last foul called on Javon Presley, number 30, and he has fouled out of the game. 4 points for the junior from Charlotte. Foul is going to be called on Quentin Chivas, number 3. I beg your pardon. Harrison. I saw Chivas kind of wince, but it was from the pain, and now he's going to limp to the free throw line.
I like some of the expressions on the Hampton players sitting on the bench.
Well, they have, I'm sure, enjoyed the experience of participating in the NCAA tournament.
sure they have also, and they're probably just thinking, these guys are pretty good. Well, like I said, it does have benefits for your program. Hampton will get a lot of mileage out of this, which is good, and they deserve that.
Hampton from Hampton, Virginia. Student body of just over 4,000. Look at Chivas get up.
Just doesn't know what the word quit, doesn't even know what it means.
Loose ball out of bounds. It'll be Hampton ball. 4 fresh bodies coming on for Kentucky. The second round continues tomorrow with the Infinity NCAA tip-off show. That's on True TV at 11 Eastern. 16 games across TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV tomorrow. You decide the games to watch.
Georgia-Michigan State game, to me, on paper, Tom Izzo has figured out, like he usually does, how to get his guys ready for the end of the season. Georgia gave this team, Kentucky, a little run for their money a couple of 10 days ago, whatever it was.
And here at the other end, Booker. Towns back to Booker. Open 3. Trey Lyles goes for it, can't control it.
That was a good example of their unselfish play as Booker turned down a first shot, got it to the post, and then got a better look to take his shot. So don't be afraid to make the extra pass, and they're not.
Chivas jumper rattled it in.
Yeah, the interesting part to me too, Vernon, we've spoken about it a little bit, and the perimeter shot finally goes down, but guys at the NCAA level, the college level, are just not used to turning on the perimeter and having this many tall guys who come out and really attack you on the perimeter and then can retreat if you go by them. And once again, they balance it so they always seem to have one guy who's about 7 feet tall protecting the rim, and they let the other 2 taller guys in their front line go after people.
Ulis answered a 3 with a 3. Here's Chivas. (73-47). Chivas has 22. He's actually a graduate student. Out of Chicago. Jim, take a look at him.
He's limping a little bit right there, but look at the action. And he's not really concerned about who's in there looking to block a shot. And he comes out limping after that one again. This guy's really put a courageous effort in the last couple of games.
He began his collegiate career at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Playing what will be his final game at Hampton. Good. And look at Chivas limping over to congratulate his teammates.
Johnson with the drive there, and it's... Watch him try to attack the body also. Little bang to the floor. And overall, the effort. These guys are just banged up from the Manhattan game, really. Especially Chivas.
Johnson. Rebound taken by Willie Cauley-Stein.
But they had to beat Manhattan, and Manhattan was a favored team against them. And they came out and really earned the right to come here tonight to play Kentucky.
Never trailed in that Manhattan win. Rebound, Hampton. Chivas again. Very slow coming across the timeline. 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure Chivas is thinking, boy, I can't wait to get back there in the locker room, put some ice on my body. You know, his knees, his ankles, he's just been banged around.
73-49. After the win against Manhattan, here was Ed Joyner grabbing a nearby cell phone.
Hey, Jesus. First of all, you can't play, so I ain't worried about you being hot. Okay, fine. They want to know how much of a mountain and what our odds are. Hello? Hello? I guess he'll get back to me, so I'll get back to you. But it's a heck of a mountain. You know what I'm saying? And we know that, so.
Well, there's more to this story. Let's check in with Allie.
That's right, Vern. EJ, Coach's 9-year-old son, he's been watching all of the coverage over the last couple of days, and yesterday morning he saw his dad on TV and he said, "Dad, wow, you're famous, but I don't know if Jesus will help you now." How about that for a line?
Excellent. And that's the other son, Andrew, the 7-year-old, by his brother's side.
And the beauty of that story was Dad told us that story, and Dad was laughing harder than we were.
Yeah, he said he got 297 texts.
Unbelievable.
And he intends to answer every one of them. He had a little bit more in his mind. Deron Powers. 3.5 to go.
And I'm looking over at Coach Joyner too right now, Vernon. He's not sitting on the bench waiting for this to end. He continues to applaud his kids, the effort, cheering for them over there.
That ball tipped. It'll be Kentucky's. Well, Chivas has had a wonderful final game. Quentin Chivas.
He sure has. Just really active, and we've spoken about him a lot. 7 of 13, 7 of 8 from the line. Just 22 points. Just a terrific effort, getting banged around for the last couple of nights, but never shying away. Also has 10 rebounds.
Towns puts it back, rolls around, and drops through. 3 to go. Dominique Hawkins getting ready to check in for Kentucky. Rebound, Aaron Harrison. Off his foot. Who's going to make the most shots? Who has more points in the second half? If your bracket is already busted, play the Capital One NCAA Tournament Run game on NCAA.com and in the March Madness Live app. Towns with a double-double, 21 points and 11 rebounds. Touch last by Dakari Johnson, number 44. Chivas with the miss. Dakari Johnson with the loose ball rebound. Harrison is fouled. I think it's safe to advance Kentucky to the next game. They have looked terrific after a sloppy start tonight, and they will meet Cincinnati. A lot of the folks have left tomorrow on TNT, West Virginia, Buffalo, and Maryland, Valparaiso.
You know, Cincinnati's a team that we watched earlier tonight. You know, they're a team that just doesn't go away. And they obviously have a challenge here, but I half jokingly said to a few of my friends when we were leaving, Vern, I looked at the matchups real fast and I was leaving, I said, looking over my shoulder, watch out for Cincinnati when they meet up with Kentucky. Just joking with them, but that part has come true, so we'll see what happens.
There you go.
But everybody picks a team. You have to pick the team next if you're against Kentucky, right? Then everybody who's against Kentucky says, oh, Cincinnati takes them down, and the Kentucky fans are just hoping that they just continue with this marvelous run. But it's fun to talk about.
Johnson is out. Lawrence Cooks, a sophomore, number 4. On for Hampton. Derek Willis on for Kentucky. Aaron Harrison will take a spot on the bench. Here's Cooks for Hampton. Tipped out. Andrew Harrison, number 5. Willis, they want him to shoot. He whips the pass. He's in, loses control. Offensive foul.
Kentucky foul on 35 there. Willis is first.
Fans trying to get him wound up. Willis looking to get on the scoreboard.
You know, I must say there are 5 more guys on this Kentucky bench. What does it take to get them in the game?
That's a great question.
Key, yes! Breon Key, a junior out of Hampton.
Plays a little football also. I'd like to see him in action with that sport too.
Oh, he missed twice. Nice defensive job. Wilson Fisher, number 31.
This Key with a nice pull-up jumper over Johnson.
Replacing number 2, number 21.
And they've hung together, though, Hampton. Give them credit. Just looking at their bench, the guys on the floor.
Sure have. There's another Kentucky basket.
It was touched on by Coach Joyner in that piece we did. The mountain was pretty big.
Yeah.
But they didn't walk away from it, that's for sure. They tried to go over it.
Lawrence Cooks draws a foul. Here we go. We're shortly going to see a combination of Sam Malone, Todd Lenter, E.J. Florial, Brian Long.
It seems like just about every substitution, they do it in the wave of 4.
That's right. Marvelous effort for Chivas tonight. Quentin Chivas. Last game. Sam Malone with the headband. Florial, number 24. Todd Lenter, who in his career has 1 start. Calipari gave him the start on senior day, number 21.
The right thing to do.
Willis, Florial. Stripped. This is Hayden, number 13. Jumper for 3, too strong. Willis, 20 seconds to go. This crowd is urging Willis to shoot. Shoot!
Yeah, they'll do the right thing most likely and just watch the clock disappear.
Yes, they will.
Whoa! Oof, that was almost head-on-head just then.
(79-56), 35-0 for the Wildcats of John Calipari.
Well, you got to really admire the Hampton effort coming in. Coach Joyner and company gave it their best shot. Obviously overwhelmed by the depth and size and strength. And John Calipari gets ready for the next one.
The tournament continues live now on TNT and True TV. Coverage on CBS begins tomorrow at noon on CBS. For Jim Spanarkel and Allie LaForce, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from Louisville. We'll send it to the studio after these messages. Good night, everybody.